I'd like to call to order the Zoning Board of Appeals regularly scheduled meeting for Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. We'll start with roll call. Steve Antonio, obviously I'm here. Larry Boardman.
Here.
He said here. Ram Kaza.
I'm here.
Joanne Hogan.
Present.
Mark Freeman.
Here.
And in the nick of time, Sharon Thomas. She is here, so we've established.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi, how are you? I established a quorum, so let's move right forward with application 23-01 of Jill Griffiths and David Keller, owners applicants, for what was once a 20-foot variance, plus or minus, from the required 40-foot setback pursuant to the Simsbury zoning regulations, section 3.9, for the construction of an 800-square-foot in-ground pool on property located at 122 Great Pond Road. But I don't believe we are still looking at a 20-foot variance. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I didn't see any documentation of what the new numbers are
Okay, I was going to bring...
and what was sent to us.
Okay, there were two documents I sent over to Mr. Hollis.
I didn't see them either. He put them in the folder.
It's weird. They're not part of the packet. They're above the packet when you open your Dropbox.
Yeah.
So I'll let you guys look, because there's actually two different pools being proposed. Does the owner have a preference on which pool we're discussing?
Everybody in my family would obviously like the larger of the two. The one that's more of a lap pool would require a little bit more of a variance request. Excuse me. The measurements on the lap pool, which is a little thinner, measures 10 feet by 40 feet. So we kept the same length of the 20 by 40 foot pool, pulled it in closer, and we're in hopes to keeping that full-size pool. When we pulled it in with the regulation from the overhang of the deck, it was still violating by 12 feet, so I figured that wasn't going to fly. So we narrowed it down to a potential lap pool, which violates the setback line by 4 feet for the pool opening. But we'd have to figure, from what the pool people said, once we'd start to excavate, it'd probably be more like 5 to 6 feet. And then, so the other pool that's more of a square, slightly rectangular pool requires less of a variance request. There we're down to about 2 feet. And then the same deal, once we have to excavate, we'd be looking at probably maybe a maximum of 4 feet, just on that one tiny corner. The rest of it falls within the property.
And which one is it that your family preferred? The skinny one or the more?
No, the larger one.
The larger, okay.
And that would measure 20 feet on the sides with a length of 30 feet.
And that one will have more variance?
No, that would have less variance.
Ironically, that has less. So that's really what you're going for, right?
Yeah.
Like my kids would obviously like more water to play in, but just the look, I just figured I'd ask, the potential of having a lap pool. But again, I think if it all came down to it, we'd go for the rectangular or the larger one.
Okay. I know one of the things we discussed last time was the septic system, and thank you very much for providing pictures of where the cleanouts are. Do you know where your leach field is? And it's entirely for your own protection. That was another file I did send over. It doesn't show on the survey that I just had done, but I found the original survey that was done for the property back in 78, 77. So the leaching field document I sent over earlier this week. So it should be there as another file. Bear with me while I dive down into another part of Dropbox to see if I can find it there. Laura, I don't think it's here, right? It's not a big thing.
So anyway, the leaching fields that they indicate on the original drawing, if you're looking at the front of the house, all the leaching fields are out in the front yard on the lower left side. So where the septic falls now, the open area of the front yard,
Great. That's okay.
has the leaching field now, but the other two spaces are out closer to the road.
You're secondary. That's great. Like I said, it's mostly for your own protection. That's not really in the purview. It's more, you definitely don't want to, start excavating and find out you're
Oh, absolutely.
Field.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just to draw us more down into it, I think you're asking for the 20 by 30 is the preferred family pool,
Yes.
so you can just consider one option.
Right.
And it's got a reduced variance, so it definitely makes it far more, I don't want to say able, because, it's your option, you request a variance and you get it. However, we do need a definitive item. Do you want to propose the lap pool or the rectangular pool?
Let's propose the rectangular pool, not the lap pool.
Okay. With that being said, has everyone on the board been able to view the plan so you understand what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
With that, let's go to individual commissioners asking questions. Joanne turned on her. Oh, Sharon. I'm sorry, Joanne, to do that quick change, but Sharon did raise her hand. Sharon, what's up?
So, one question. I mean, I think there was a question from the last time on whether or not any neighbors have come forward or have you talked to neighbors around this?
We've talked to the neighbor just next door that faces the back of our house because it impacts them directly. I sent him, the day after we had our meeting, I sent him another text. Again, we rarely run into anybody to talk to them. So I did text directly to his number, and my wife ran into him on the street. So he verified that he got it, but he never answered me. But I gave him the whole rundown on the initial meeting, and then I proposed to him what we were actually doing for tonight's meeting. So, they have everything in a sort of a letter from us, so to speak, but I have not gotten any response. And my wife and I both have the feeling we're not going to be able to get a letter from them one way or the other. So.
Well, I don't know if it's that much of a deal as it was before because the pool equipment is tucked in next to the shed now.
Well, that falls on our property. That doesn't fall into the setback area. And
That's what I'm saying. So the pool equipment isn't really in the setback anymore, from what I can tell.
No, it wasn't originally either. And I also have a permitted, what do you call it, a heat pump out there for my studio in that area. So
Yeah, no, it'd be nice to have all the utilities there.
yeah, that would not violate. Now, if I could just bring up another issue that you brought up last time regarding the ampage of the pool. So again, the electrics are on the very far side of the house, which makes it a little kind of difficult to be digging a new trench and all that. So when I talked to the pool people with the electrician's comments, what we would do on that is we would upgrade the electrics running to the studio. Since they are in conduit, we would upgrade them through that same port and upgrade it at the power box in the studio so that we would have that running directly out to that unit out there that runs the pool.
Sounds logical. It sounds like it will work well for you too, especially with it being conduit instead of direct burial.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl, just so we can check people off one at a time, were there any other questions from you? Sorry.
No other questions. And he's done the due diligence by, notifying and informing. So I think I'm okay.
Okay. And the town also notified the neighbors. So they had their chance now twice.
That's right.
So moving right along, let the record know, show Amanda that Josh Mickelson has joined us on the board, please? And then Joanne, did you have any comments or questions for the applicant?
No, I think that they've responded appropriately to our request from last time.
My one thing I would like to add, just in this whole thing, with our deck off the back of the house, the reason it took me a little while to get something into your office, my concern was with a pool that's in ground, or even above ground for that matter, we have a deck that's a full story above the ground. And I just was wondering, what is the distance I can legally have a raised deck above an open pool, so that obviously you don't have an individual that wants to treat the deck like a diving board. So the coding or the department downtown here told me it was 3 feet. So that's what we've gone with the drawings.
That is correct. Diving boards are also illegal. You are not allowed to dive into a pool in the state of Connecticut. There.
But that was my concern with a raised deck that we have. So was there something I could do to my deck in that corner with the railing that we have that we could make it less, or more prohibitive to even somebody having the idea to do that in that corner near the pool? So I just we were trying to address that as well, just on our end.
I gotta be honest, that's entirely up to you, and it should center on your comfort level of the liability involved.
Right.
But that is out of our purview. We are merely giving you the extra footage to get the pool in.
Right.
We are not the building department. And that Henry Miga, we've got a great department over there. Everyone over there, they're very helpful, and they will quickly answer any questions. But you got the right idea. It's 3 feet, and you know your family better than I if they're going to be jumping up.
Well, it's just anybody that we have.
We're not saying you should, that's for sure.
Gotcha.
All right, moving along. Larry Boardman, any questions or comments?
No, I think he's done exactly what we suggested the last time, and it seems to fit properly.
All right, moving right along. Mark Freeman.
Yeah, I would say same. I mean, they're coming back with less of an ask, and to Sharon's point, they've done their due diligence with the neighbors. I think that they've done everything. I can't think of anything, other than it seems more than reasonable to grant the hardship to me. So.
Okay, we're going to have to work on that after we get through our questions and comments. We got to figure out what the hardship is. However, moving straight along, Rob, do you have any questions or comments?
No, yeah, like everyone said, I think now the variance is a lot less than last month. And also, they reached out to the neighbors, letting them know about the change for this month. I'm good. I don't have any other questions.
That was great. And Josh, do you have any questions or comments?
Yes, I apologize for being late. Because I was late, I think I missed. Is your proposal for the one labeled option 1?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Josh is the one that looks like it's more square.
The more square one? Yeah, okay, cool. Yep, that one. And that was the one that required less of a variance too, so I'm glad to see that. I did go over the documents thoroughly in between, the last meeting and going over the documents early today. I think I have a pretty good idea of everything that's going on, so I don't have any further questions.
All right. Laura, I have a question for you. The walkway around a pool is not part of the setback, right? You can have that. So we don't care. It's just the edge of the pool is what we care about.
Correct. Paved surfaces are regulated by zoning.
Okay. So with that, we're really only looking at a 2-foot variance. Even though they're going to excavate out, they're going to backfill. And that's a paved surface. So just to, Laura, I'm still talking to you, just so we're clear.
That was my question. So if we're going for the more square pool, what is the amount of the variance we're actually going to allow based on that drawing?
I'm saying.
So we need to know that.
That's the 2 foot.
Right.
2 foot
Once
variance?
they backfill, it would just be 2 feet just on that one point, the corner there.
Okay.
Okay, so I think the hardship is that once you take into account the septic system and the other confines of the property, this is the only place it will fit. But the hardship is the location of the septic system and existing structures on the property.
I mean, that's pretty well stated in the staff report. The hardship being,
Forgot to open it.
yep, the southwest areas contain a septic tank and the leaching fields. The applicant further states that the southeast wooded area is the lowest lying land area and is often very wet due to the storm runoff. So, that's the kind of renders a large portion of the property is not useful for a pool.
So it seems like you are ready to make a motion, Joanne.
We need to make a motion to close discussion.
Yeah, and I'll second that. Here, no objections, that's closed. So let's move along to our discussion of it, not to put the cart before the horse. Sorry.
So I'll reiterate the hardship as stated honestly by the staff, which is very helpful to us, is that the north and southwest areas contain a septic tank and the leaching field. And also the southeast wooded area is often wet due to runoff, and it's a low area. And on both sides of Laurel Lane, to the northeast and the east. So it's like they're kind of surrounded by either leaching field, septic, or wet areas.
And there's definite town dredged areas that for the storm runoff that run through that.
I'm sorry that the public hearing is closed, so I'm sorry the applicant can no longer speak.
Oh, sorry.
We're almost done here. Is there any other commissioners that would like to speak out about this? You don't have to, just to say that, but you are more than welcome to. Hearing none, then Joanne, I'd encourage you to read that again and just state that it's a 2-foot variance this time.
I will. You want me to make a motion?
Yes, please.
All right, I'm going to make a motion to approve application 23-01, Jill Griffith and David Keller, owner applicants, for a 2-foot variance from the required 40-foot side yard setback pursuant to the Simsbury zoning regulations section 3.9 for the construction of is it still 800 square foot pool?
No, it's 20 by 30 would be 600.
600. Okay, for construction of a 600 square foot in-ground pool in accordance with plans entitled Zoning Location Survey, Jones Engineering LLC, dated 11/1/2022, revised 2/9/2023, at or on the property located at 122 Great Pond Road, with the hardship being that the property itself has either got leaching fields, a septic tank, or is a very wet area and an area where the town does dredging to control runoff.
Would someone like to second that, perhaps?
I can second.
Okay, Amanda, I'll let you call on who was second. However, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? And abstain.
I'm going to abstain because I missed part of it.
All right, fair enough. However, we do have enough votes that motion is granted, or variance rather is granted. Thank you very much for taking the time to not only come to us, but to come to us twice. We appreciate your due diligence and good luck with your poll.
Thank you very much.
Which dive off the deck.
I'll see that doesn't happen. All right. My kids, thank you too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a great day.
All right. Good evening, everybody.
All right, so moving right along, General Commission business, Laura, do we have anything? All right, that's a big no. Do any of the commissioners have anything they would like to bring up during General Commission business?
Just that, Laura, do you think you could resend me the information for the professional development stuff that we can do remotely?
I believe all those times have passed currently for the ones that have already been scheduled, but we will be scheduling ones in the future as well.
This
Did you
year?
get any? Absolutely. Did you get any hours in or no, not yet? 'Cause
None of those times worked for me.
Okay.
So, Laura, if I could,
But I thought they were asynchronous.
what does that mean? Why are you using
That you can do whether it's that they're
That you can do it whenever you want. They
Those are my thoughts. That's what Sharon's trying to say, but I keep talking over her. So if you say it again, Sharon, I'm going to talk over you.
no. That's what I thought, that we could take up anytime.
So there was sorry, Mr. Chen, there was the PT bar that was a one-day event, and then there were multiple clear classes. I believe those are offered as webinars going forward. I will definitely go ahead and discuss with Joe and have him send you the link and the information going forward.
I mean, if they are something we can do in our own time, that would be so much more helpful to me than having to tune in at a specific time.
And to be honest, there are portions of it that were very applicable to ZBA in the clear part.
And so I'm happy to do it, but the Saturday one, I'm almost never going to be able to do that.
Oh my God, it sucked.
So it's going to have to be something I can do in the evening. Yeah, it's going to have to be something I can do in the evening.
I have a question. With the Yukon Clear, the recordings are available for the 3 trainings. If, someone can listen into those recordings, is that considered as completing the training? They're available.
You're able to attend a portion of it. It depends as long as you get your amount of hours. Yeah. So you'll just have to coordinate with town staff on which trainings you have attended. And I will certainly send out the links again. Or actually, they'll probably come from Joe Hollis. I have not done the Yukon Clear training, so I'm not familiar with that setup. I did do the Connecticut bar training, and I do know that there is a portion of that might also be available. And if so, George and I were discussing the possibility of getting the ZBA one up here so you can have the ability to watch it, because we thought it was very informative.
Okay. Because that would be really helpful if it's something we could do when it works for our schedule. That's all.
Having attended it too, it's entirely audio. There's no video aspect that, you're looking at the screen. I mean, the speaker is on the screen, but you can definitely just listen to it and still get all the information out of the Clear course. And if anyone wants to reach out to me directly, feel free to do so. And I'll explain it a little more in detail than having this televised meeting. We don't need to clutter it up with, small aspects of it.
Okay.
Is there any other general commission business? All right, hearing none, let's do the approval of the minutes. Did anyone see any typos or anything, or would anyone like to just commend Amanda doing a wonderful job as always?
Always.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, with that being said, I'll make a quick motion to approve the minutes. Who wants to second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And that was unanimous, so there's no one to abstain or vote against it. Last call for general commission business, because you know what's next.
The only thing is, does it look like we have an application for next month?
I do not have one currently. They have until the first Friday of the month to submit.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, plans?
Maybe. I'm a very busy girl.
I know that. All right, who wants to do the final motion? I've done enough.
A motion that we close our meeting at
But
7:26.
I can second.
all right, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Bye-bye.